Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Geeky Boomer, the podcast where I explore the fascinating intersection between life and technology. I'm your host, PixelPia, and I'm thrilled that you've joined us today. If you are a returning listener, welcome back. And if you're new here, I'm delighted to have you at the Geeky Boomer, where I dive deep into trending tech topics, from evolving e-commerce to artificial intelligence. Our content caters to everyone, whether you are a tech enthusiast or just curious and eager to learn more. Today, I have a truly mind-bending topic that sounds like it's straight out of science fiction. I'm talking about brain-computer interfaces, or BCIs for short. Yeah, you heard that right. Technology that allows your brain to communicate directly with computers and other devices. Intrigued? I know I am. So grab your favorite beverage, settle in, and get ready to explore the incredible world of BCIs. Whether you're driving, working out, or just relaxing at home, this episode will be a fascinating ride. I am interested in the topic, as some of you might know, for a very personal reason. My sister-in-law has had 2 traumatic brain injuries almost 30 years ago due to 2 car accidents. In her case, it has led to extremely poor balance. She can hear, but she can't compute and understand what she's hearing, among many other problems. And I don't think that this technology will develop so it can really help her. But I hope that in the future, this can help other people in her circumstances. But before we dive into the topic of BCI, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And if you find this episode interesting, feel free to share it. And now, let's dive into what is BCI? Let's start by talking about the basics of BCI. You might wonder how we have even arrived at this point where we can connect the human brain to a machine. Well, it's been a journey of scientific discovery, technological innovations, and much trial and error. The concept of BCIs has been around for decades, but it's only in recent years that we've seen significant achievements. The key to this technology lies in understanding the brain's electrical activity. Our brains are biological computers, constantly sending and receiving electrical signals. Neurons generate these electrical signals, the basic building blocks of the brain. When neurons communicate, they produce electrical impulses known as action potentials. These action potentials can be detected and measured, and that's where BCIs come in. So let's talk about how BCIs actually work. First off, let's talk about the brain itself. Our brains are made up of billions of neurons. And these neurons, as I said, communicate with each other through electrical signals. These signals can be picked up by electrodes and translated into data that the computer can understand. Depending on the type of BCI, these electrodes can be placed in different locations. Non-invasive BCIs use electrodes placed on the scalp, while invasive BCIs involve electrodes implanted directly into the brain. The electrodes pick up the brain's electrical activity, which is then amplified and filtered. This data is sent to a computer, where algorithms translate it into commands. This is how you can move a cursor on a screen or control a robotic arm just by thinking about it. But it's not as simple as plug and play. Users often have to go through a training process to learn how to generate the right kind of brain signals. It's a little bit like learning a new language, where both you and the computer have to understand each other. So as you can see, the science behind BCIs is both complex and fascinating. It's a field that's continually evolving, with researchers working to improve the accuracy and ease of use of these interfaces. BCIs use various methods to capture these signals. Electroencephalography, or EEG, is one of the most common non-invasive techniques. It involves placing electrodes on the scalp to measure the brain's electrical activity. On the other hand, more invasive methods involve inserting electrodes directly into the brain tissue, providing a more accurate but riskier approach. Once these signals are captured, they're processed and translated into commands that a computer or another device can understand. This is done using sophisticated algorithms and machine learning techniques, continually refined to improve accuracy and reliability. So in essence, BCIs serve as a bridge between the biological electrical activity of our brains and the digital electrical activity of computers and other devices. It's a fascinating field that combines neuroscience, engineering, computer science, and even ethics. So with that in mind, we are going to take a look at 3 different case studies. I have looked at 3 different studies, and I will summarize them here just to give you an idea of what can be accomplished now and for you to imagine what can be done in the future. I will also share some thought-provoking questions for you to think about. Links to all these studies will be in the description, and I might pronounce some of these terms inaccurate, so forgive me for that. The first study is named Motor Neuroprosthesis Implanted with Neuro-interventional Surgery Improves Capacity for Activities of Daily Living Tasks in Severe Paralysis. First in human experience. And this study is from October 2020. In the article with this long title, it discusses a groundbreaking study involving 2 participants with severe paralysis due to amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, more commonly known as ALS. The study used minimally invasive procedures to implant a special device called a stentrode BCI near the motor cortex of the brain. This device allowed the participant to control digital devices like a computer mouse through their brain signals. After some training, the participants were able to perform daily tasks like text messaging, online shopping, and managing finances on a computer all by themselves. The study shows promising results for restoring some level of independence to people with severe paralysis. A second study is called Clinical Feasibility of Brain-Computer Interface based on a steady-state visual evoked potential in patients with locked-in syndrome. And this study is from October 2020. This case study explores the use of brain-computer interface technology for patients with locked-in syndrome, LIS. Locked-in syndrome is a condition where a person is fully aware but cannot move or communicate verbally due to complete paralysis. The study involved 5 patients and aimed to access the reliability and effectiveness of BCI systems based on steady-state visual evoked potentials, SSVEP. The results were promising. All patients showed clear brain responses to visual stimuli, and the system achieved an average accuracy of nearly 77% in classifying these responses. The study concluded that this BCI technology could be a feasible way to help severely paralyzed patients communicate and interact with their environment. The third case study is described in an article called A High Performance Speech Neuroprosthesis. And they talked about the groundbreaking brain-computer interface that can potentially restore rapid communication for people with paralysis. This article is from August 2023. The study focused on a participant with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS, a condition that severely impairs speech. The BCI system used high-resolution intracortical microelectrode arrays to record neural activity. Remarkably, the participant achieved a 9.1% word error rate on a 50-word vocabulary and a 23.8% word error rate on a 125,000 word vocabulary. The system decoded speech at 62 words per minute, which is much faster than previous BCIs. So this is a study in a way of improving communication for people with paralysis. So after looking at these 3 studies, let me put some questions out there. It is something for me and you and everyone else to think about when it comes to the BCI technology. Question number 1. How might this technology change the lives of people with severe paralysis in the long term? That might not be so hard to visualize, maybe. But here is another question. What ethical questions arise when we start to control devices directly with our brains? Are there any privacy concerns? And another one, how can we make sure that such advanced medical technologies is accessible to everyone regardless of their financial situation? And then, how soon can we expect to see technology being used in healthcare settings to improve the lives of patients with severe paralysis? As I said, I don't believe that any of these technologies will help my sister-in-law. I think we are a long way from really using this in real-world applications. And for the communication part of it, how can BCI systems be further optimized to approach the speed of natural conversation, which is around 160 words per minute? And remember, I said in the third study that they achieved 62 words per minute. So we are a little over a third of the way there. As you can see, the application of BCIs are incredibly diverse and far-reaching. They have the potential to touch almost every aspect of our lives, from how we learn and communicate to how we entertain ourselves and even how we secure our digital identities. But let's take a look at some pros and cons of BCI. Now let's get into the good, the bad, ethical consideration. Starting with the pros. One of the most significant benefits of BCI is their potential to revolutionize medical rehabilitation for people who have lost limbs or have mobility issues. BCIs offers a new lease on life. Another advantage is in the realm of communication. BCIs can be a game changer for people with severe disabilities, offering them a way to communicate that wasn't possible before. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows. One of the major cons is the cost. BCIs, especially the invasive ones, can be incredibly expensive, making them inaccessible for many people. Then there are ethical considerations. Who owns the data that's being collected from the brain? What happens if it gets into the wrong hands? These are questions that still need answered. And let's not forget about the potential health risks. While non-invasive BCIs are generally considered safe, invasive ones involve surgical procedures that come with their own set of risks. So, as you can see, BCIs are a double-edged sword. They offer incredible benefits, but also come with their own challenges and ethical dilemmas. BCIs that we so far have talked about is medical. But with this technology and its future, there are many other areas where BCIs can come into play. And that's what we're going to take a look at next, the future of BCI. So what might be the future of BCIs? Well, first of all, when we talk about medical rehabilitation, BCIs are expected to play a significant role in medical rehabilitation, especially for patients with paralysis, stroke, or neurodegenerative diseases. Advanced BCI could help to restore lost functions like movement and speech. Part of that has to do with communication enhancement. For individuals with communication disorders or severe paralysis, BCIs could offer a more natural and efficient way to communicate, going beyond simple text generation to real-time speech synthesis. And what about human augmentation? BCIs could enhance human capabilities such as memory, attention, and even sensory perception. This could have implication in education, professional settings, and daily life. Then we have aspects like virtual and augmented reality. BCIs could revolutionize our interaction with virtual and augmented reality, making the experience more immersive and intuitive. And then we have all the ethical and legal considerations. As BCIs become more advanced, ethical questions around privacy, consent, and potential misuse will become increasingly important. Regulations may be needed to ensure ethical use. Let me ask you a couple of questions. As BCIs become more integrated in our lives, how will society address the ethical implications, such as privacy and consent? How can we ensure that the benefits of BCIs are accessible to everyone, regardless of their socio-economical status? And as BCIs offer the potential for human augmentation, what does this mean for our understanding of what it is to be human? The future of BCIs is incredibly promising, with the potential to revolutionize medicine, communication, and human capabilities. However, the future also has ethical and societal questions that must be addressed. I've had an incredible journey today, diving into the world of brain-computer interfaces. I covered things from what BCIs are to their applications, pros and cons, the science behind them, and even what the future holds. As I wrap up today's episode, I want to leave you with this thought. BCIs are not just a technology for the future. They're a technology of the present. They're already making waves in various fields and have the potential to revolutionize how we interact with the world around us. But like any technology, BCIs come with their own set of challenges and ethical considerations. As we move forward, it is crucial to approach this technology with both excitement and caution, always keeping in mind its impact on society. That's all for today's episode on brain-computer interfaces. It's a topic that is as complex as it is fascinating. And I have only just scratched on the surface today. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and share it with your friends and family. Thank you for joining me today, and remember, never stop learning. And I will catch you in the next episode of The Geeky Boomer. Bye.